Shalom Aleichem, everyone. Hope everyone had a wonderful, wonderful week and an absolutely gorgeous Chag HaPesach. We read this week Parshas Acharei Mot as we get into the regular swing of back to normalcy. And nothing's normal today. We see what's going on college campuses all over the world. Nothing's normal. And perhaps as we move into the Chagim of the sadness of Yom HaZikaron, Yom HaAtzmaut coming up, we'll share a thought. Acharei Mot is a lot about Eretz Yisrael. And in the beginning of our introduction to the Parsha of the Arayos, of all the prohibited relationships, the Torah tells us, Kamaisa Eretz Mitzrayim asher yeshavtem ba, lo ta'asu, u'kamaisa Eretz Canaan asher ani mevi eschem shama, lo ta'asu, u'v'chukosei lo telechu. So the simple understanding of this pasuk is it's teaching us a halacha, u'bekukoseichem lo telechu. Don't follow the ways of the goyim. Don't get influenced. Don't get confused by their ways. And this is an isser. This is an isser. It's also an introduction to, as we mentioned, the Parsha of the Arayos, where the Torah tells us all of the isurim of in the sexual arena, and it's also telling us do not get too involved in the host culture. The culture of Canaan, which was known to be a very, very decadent culture, the culture of Mitzrayim, which is also a very perverse culture. Do not get involved in these cultures because it's going to have an impact. And as an introduction to Parshas Arayos, it tells us, be careful when you're in Galus not to get too involved in the host culture. But now there's a gorgeous and well-known Klei Yakar. And the Klei Yakar points out, the Torah tells us, Kamais Eretz Mitzrayim, it should just say Lo Taseh, but it says Asher Yeshavtem Ba. U'kamais Eretz Canaan, it could have just said Lo Ta'asu, but it doesn't say that. Asher Ani Mevi Eschem. So the Klei Yakar says, unbelievable. He says Kamais Eretz Mitzrayim. When the Bnei Yisrael was in Eretz Mitzrayim, they enjoyed it there. They got into it. They got comfortable in Mitzrayim. When they were taken out, they weren't so quick to leave, and there were people who wanted to go back, and 80% of Klal Yisrael did not end up leaving. So says the pasuk, Kamaisa Eretz Mitzrayim, says the Klei Yakar, Asher Yeshavtem Ba. Your approach was not like Yaakov, Lagur Sham, to be there as a ger, but you were Yoshev Sham. There was a yeshiva there. Don't do that. Don't do that. If you have to be in Golus, recognize what Golus is. It's an onesh, it's temporary, and our eyes have to be in Eretz Yisrael. Kamaisa Eretz Canaan, Asher Ani Mevi Eschem Sham. I had to schlep you there. I had to bring you there. So many people wanted to stay back. And we find that also, for example, in the time when Ezra came back to build the Bayis Sheni, so people wanted to stay in Bavel. They were comfortable in Bavel. Be careful. Be careful. Life is not always easy in Eretz Yisrael. There are certainly challenges. But don't get too comfortable, because if Chas v'Shalom we get too comfortable, then at some point, this is the story of Jewish history, the Gentiles will tell us, are we really welcome? And unfortunately, we're seeing some horrors. Baruch Hashem, we have a lot of friends as well in Chutz La'aretz, but we're seeing a dark side. And always remember where our destination is. Our destination is in Eretz Yisrael, and that's what the famous Ramban in this week's Parsha also develops, this idea, the unique relationship of Bnei Yisrael in Eretz Yisrael, doing mitzvahs in Eretz Yisrael. That's the ideal state. Bez Hashem will be zoche to the geula that we're so in need of. B'mheira v'yameinu. Amen.